G'day, legends. Welcome to the Pot
Oh,
Noodle.
sorry, you caught me out there, guys.
I'm your host, Jared, and joining me tonight is Shane. And I was going to say the sexiest man on the podcast in that yellow shirt, Liam, but with what you've just started off with, I'm retracting that statement. How you going, Liam?
Good, mate. Good. Yep, new tops arrived today. You know what? Actually, I slag off Celtic a lot for their merchandising and whatever, but these tops got here on time, cheaper than they would have been if I'd bought them in Japan. And yeah, quality is great. So very pleased. Also nice where you can get a top without the sponsor on it. So my away top is sponsorless. The home one, I couldn't get sponsorless. That's sold out. But yeah, very happy. Yep, all good.
How you doing, Shane?
Yes, I don't know how to respond after that cold open. I would ask Liam, how is Pedro, by the way? No, I'm good, mate. It's good to be back with you, fine gentlemen, talking all things Celtic. But just a word of warning: if I do ask to have you repeat things or ask if I can get you to say things a little bit louder, I did go out last night and saw the awesome Jesus and Mary chain in concert for the first time, and I absolutely loved it. But it was loud, and the ears are still recovering a little bit today. So apologies in advance if I don't catch certain things.
What?
Exactly. Oh no, I know what you're doing. Sorry. That one's a bit. I'm not that long in the tooth.
You're going to say that's over the head, Shane, but that's just normal for you being the shortest.
Mate, I can walk under branches that people get hit by. It's a wonderful trait.
Brilliant. So, everyone tuning in, let us know your thoughts on the game, the Trophy Day result in the comment section. We'll go through that a bit later on. But Liam, you got your tops, so we'll start off with a bit of a chat about them because I know you're a bit of an aficionado, you two. Shane's a little devo because he was holding off getting his home top this year because he made the comment about James McCarthy name and number on the back, and looks like he's gone. So yeah, looks like now you can order your top clean and clear, Shane. But Liam, give us your thoughts on all the tops that you've got there.
Right. Well, start with the away top. It's one of those that looks a lot better in person than it did in the initial photos. I was not that impressed with it when I first saw the leaked images, but it looks so much better. The very thin stripes on it are actually a mix of alternating green and black, which makes it stand out a lot more. Yeah, it's a very nice shirt, but definitely benefits from not having a sponsor on it. If you can get that version of it, I would recommend that. The home top that arrived today as well. Very happy with that. I did not get a name and number this time because, as we're probably going to discuss, I think they've kind of botched the names and numbers on the shirts this season. The numbers are fine, but the names are not particularly clear. With the black lettering on the green hoop. I think they need to either put a border around the letters or change the colour. It's not that unusual to have the name and the number be different colours. There are various teams across Europe that have done that. Yeah, there's ways around that, but I think that they've kind of made a bit of a mess up with the names on the home tops. So I opted not to get one this year.
Just on that, Liam, like the issue that we're referring to, and Shane's going to jump onto that off the back of this, is that it's black writing on a green top. So on the green part of the top, so it's hard to see, right? You can see the number from wide, but that's the tough part. For me, normally if you're having black lettering, you put it on a white part of the top. Last time we had the name and number, like the names on a green part of the top, we had gold numbers and gold names. So it wasn't an issue because it was such a contrast. So I think it's just a bit of a lack of foresight here, but I'll throw it to you, Shane.
No, I agree completely. Like, it's really frustrating when I was actually looking at purchasing the kit. The actual site, the shop actually allows you to see what it's going to look like on the back of the kit. They do the digital markup for you, so you can see what what the appearance will be, and it was really frustrating to see that the actual black text is on the green part of the hoop instead of the white part of the hoop. It is more noticeable. Jared, you summed it up completely. You put the black text on the white background, and it's so much more noticeable. There was a couple of seasons ago, I can't remember which one it was, where we had it half and half, and that didn't really work. I think it's just clear cut. Just if you want it to stand out, as you said, either have different coloring of the lettering so it works with the green background, or put it on the white part of the background.
When it's white on the green, so it's a lighter color, or it's black on the white, it stands out like dog's balls. I'm brewing that for you, Liam, because we know what your final thought was last week on the pod. But it's like, it's just odd. Like, I don't get it. Like, you think someone will look at that and go, no, that's a bad idea. But then it is Celtic. So, enough said.
Yeah,
but it works
there's,
so
there's
well
always a catch with Celtic. There's always a catch. And
I was just going to... Oh, sorry, Liam, I'm cutting you off.
Sorry, go ahead, mate. Go ahead.
I was just going to say it works really well on the yellow top, though. Like, you have a look at the lettering and numbering, and you... I think you said you got a name and number on the back of the away kit. Did you not?
I didn't, but I did get the name and number on the new goalie top, and because that's pink, they went for just the usual white numbers, and that looks great. It's about color contrast, as you said, and the fact that this is pink means that you could use pretty much any other color and it's going to stand out. So
I know what the plan is for that top, Liam. You got the pink one, so on a day when you're sunburnt, you put it on and no one will know the difference, right?
Yeah. I come on here looking like I don't know. Yeah, looking like the world's worst superhero, Lobster Man.
As I say, looking like a Powerpuff Girl, but anyway.
Well, there is that.
So we'll bring up some comments here. McLaughlin, how champions again. Andrew's saying great start to the season.
Indeed.
Smell the glove. Now that's a band. And g'day to you. McLaughlin saying last and 7 is all I've ever had on any strips. I've had 2 tops with names on it. Bruni and Edward. They're the only 2 I've got. And after the last one, I'm kind of like, do I really want to do it again? My age, it's kind of odd to have the name and number of a player on your back that you're old enough to be their dad. That's the way I look at it. Like, let's look at it here. You got what? Some 20-year-olds in the team? There you go. If you've got some 20 or 22-year-olds, could easily be their dad. So let's I'm not, but I just find it odd. Anyway.
God, in a few years, if we sign some more young Japanese boys, I might be their dad.
Hey.
Anyway, moving on.
So RL77. There you go. And Celtic corner, get Kun. There you go, Shane. There's a challenge for you. Jared will be all over it if you do that. He'll be like, no, that's my boyfriend.
Nah, I'm already locked in. I will genuinely get Liam Scales' name and number on the back of one of my kids.
Okay, there you go. So here's Liam Scales. Liam, who would you get if you were to get a name on the back of your top this season? Like if you were getting another one, who would it be?
Well,
someone that you haven't got.
I've already got Kyogo and Daisen, so I guess maybe Reo Hatate.
The form is in. That makes sense. Yeah, for me, I think it's time. If I'm going to get a name and number, it's Kelmac. Or Jamesy. I've been eyeballing them going, should I? And I was like this with Rogic, where I was like, I'll get him on the next season's top. And then he left. And I regret that. And I was 4 seasons in a row. I was like, I'll get it next season. And then I never did it. So, yeah, I reckon I'll probably do one of those 2. Andrew's saying wait until after the window. Yeah, it's fair shout.
Or even better, wait until after the season and get it for half price.
That's what I did last year. I got the long sleeve one because that was all they had, and I'm like, I'm happy with that. The first ever long sleeve Celtic top. I'm like, how's that work? They play during summer down here. Oh well. So we'll get into the game. Okay, so We're playing against Killie on Flag Day. Starting lineup for us: Casper Schmeichel. How weird is that? It's not Joe Hart at the top there.
Mm.
Alistair Johnson,
Making some
Carter
adjustments.
Vickers, Scales, Taylor, McGregor, O'Reilly, Hatate. Jamesy started along with Kun and Kyogo. Bench: Sinosalo, Palmer, Yang, Home, Awada, Bernardo. Straight on the bench. I like that. Ralston, Welsh, and Mikey Johnson. So, Shane, what was your thoughts when you saw the starting lineup?
Oh, really pleased. Apart from Dyson being out injured, that's you bring him in on the left, and that's our strongest 11 right now. So we're pretty much full strength apart from Dyson. And you compare it to sort of Flag Day last season against Ross County, and we had Ralston starting, we had Turnbull in midfield, like it's very different. And really pleased with that lineup. Yeah.
Liam, what was your thoughts?
Yeah, pretty much the same. I mean, minus Dyson, that is our best team. I think there's a debate to be had though, especially based on how well he played yesterday. That if if Dyson's fit and he starts on the left, do we go with Kuhn or Forrest on the right? Because Kuhn is looking very good at the moment, and we know what Jamesy Forrest can do. So it's like, who do you go with? That's going to be a difficult question once everybody's fully fit.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. It gives us balance and also gives us options because each of them play the game in a different way. So I like that versatility that we have in the squad as well, Liam. So that if we were having a look at it, you got Forrest, he's going to be more direct. You've got Kun, who's going to go for the bit of trickery. You've got Maeda, who's just a workhorse. You've got Palmer when he comes on, and yeah, he's just a bit all over the place. But you've got each of them is different, and I like that. So it's all going to. I think it's going to be horses for courses above all else. Like, who are we playing? Are they likely to come out? Is the guy playing at their right back? Is he good with the ball at his feet? If he is, have Maeda out there to press him. If the guy at their left back is good with the ball at his feet, then who would you go with? I probably wouldn't have Jamesy. I don't think he'd be able to press that way. But
No.
as much as that, but if it's someone who's just like going to hoof it into row Z and just clear the ball, then different. As I said, horses for courses, different players there. Just pick your team and keep our system based on who we're playing.
Yeah, it's good that we, like you say, we've got that adaptability now. That we knew yesterday we were playing against Kilmarnock, a team that were going to sit in very, very deep, and we were still able to open them up 4 times, because we had that versatility.
Mm.
Yep, 100%. So for me, when I saw that starting lineup, I was like, okay, on the field, as you guys were saying, it's pretty much our strongest lineup we've got there, other than Maeda. When I looked at the bench, I'm like, I still think that there's a lot of improvement there. As I've said, I'd like someone to challenge Taylor for the starting left back position, someone to challenge Scales. I said before the game, but the way he played, whoever comes in is going to have to earn that jersey. And same deal with Taylor. Both of them did decent yesterday. So for me, or this morning actually, it was for us. So I'm looking at the bench and I'm going, you've got Yang. I think by the end of the window, he'll be out on loan somewhere within Scotland. You've got Welsh and Mikey Johnson there. So they're the 3 players. We can get 3 quality guys in, like another striker like Ida, who we're being linked with, a starting left back and another centre back. Then those 3 will drop out and then suddenly out. Doesn't matter whether the new guys come in to start or they come in to try and take the spots from them. However it works out, it's going to make our squad deeper and better. So it's going to be that quality that Brendan wants. So, yeah, as RL77 saying here, seriously, only 3 or 4 new first team signs away from being a superb team if no one leaves.
Yeah.
And then Maestro was saying, still need players for in Europe. So, yeah, I agree with both of you.
Mm.
But yeah, it's overall, Shane, I'll go to you with just give us you love a bit of waffle. That's why I'm going to Shane here. Let's give us a general chat about the first half. Like, My thoughts are pretty simple, but I'm going to lean on you boys for the game because I haven't seen the full game from start to finish in one sitting. I've seen the first half and then came back and watched the second half later on, trying to juggle that around, going to and from work and lunch break and all this sort of stuff, right? So for me, it's I thought the speed of our play, other than about a 10-15 minute period overall in the game where we lowered ourselves a little bit, that was Brendan ball. That was, you can see the incisiveness, the speed of play, and the ability, and a centre back playing well with the ball at his feet. That's what Rodgers likes. So for me, a lot of positives there, but I'll let you give us the rundown on first half in general.
Well, you said first half, so I'm just saying it out loud. So if I waffle on and start talking about the second half, you've got every right to jump in and kick me out or mute me remotely or whatever you want to do to get me to stop waffling on. But
I'll just mute you, Shane,
and I won't know because I won't be able to tell. So 1:30 a.m. kickoff here on the eastern side of Australia. So even though I did get home and was probably still up relatively close to that time, I wasn't going to tune in with my ears ringing still. So left it to sort of catch up on it today. Little bits and pieces. So first half during lunch break, second half after work. And on the first half, I think you touched on the main point I was going to sort of flag anyway, which was, we'd had a really solid preseason. We'd looked very impressive during preseason. We were shifting the ball very well. He's spot on. And it was a case of when we actually got into the league, what were we actually going to do? Were we going to see that incisiveness continue? Or were we actually going to see us sort of, revert back to where we were, which was a little bit sturgid, a bit sort of just waiting for it to happen. And pleasingly in that first half, I thought we were excellent. Our pace of play, our movement of the ball, our passing, but also our movement off the ball was all excellent. We were quick, we were decisive, we were making things happen. And, particularly that midfield three, we were biting off passes that if they didn't work, that was okay. It didn't matter, but we were playing those balls and trying to get in behind and moving the ball so quickly that even if they did win the ball back from an errant or loose pass, Killie didn't have the chance to set up. They didn't have any time to get into a proper shape and actually set themselves up properly. And I thought we were really impressive. And honestly, we could have been 4 or 5 up at halftime with the dominance that we'd had. But it was good to see that play that we'd all commented on during preseason and been really excited by actually continue into our league debut. If you compare to last season's Flag Day, it was a bit of a turgid affair. It took a while to get going. None of that. We were straight on from the first whistle against Killie and a really impressive first 45.
Yeah, last season we just looked disjointed the majority of the year. So it's good to see the boys come back in a preseason, get the training into them, and have a game plan, and everyone knows their roles, and off we go. So I'm just going to bring up a couple of comments. So as was I brought up on the screen before, Andrew was like, "Stop waffling, Shane. Get on with it." Celtic Corner was like, "You waffled about how you were going to waffle." Maestro's love a waffle.
Can we stop this? I've not had my dinner yet. Come on.
Celtic Corner was like, "I prefer pancakes." Maestro's like tatty scones. Just
Oh,
keep
for God's
going.
sake.
You're going to make Liam hungry, everyone. What are we doing?
Oh.
But yeah, Liam, what was your thoughts on the first half?
Yeah, great. Really, really, really pleasantly, I would say pleasantly surprised, but actually based on pre-season, it's not a surprise at all because we've looked good for the last few weeks. Yeah, no sign of instability, no sign of that kind of lack of cutting edge. We just got ripped right into Kilmarnock, and half time it was 2-0 going on 7 or 8-0, to be quite honest. We totally dominated them. I mean, looking at the game as a whole, something like 89% possession we had, 87 or 89%. That's Barcelona levels of dominance,
There you go, Liam. I was just going to bring that up. It's the very next thing, so we'll bring it on the screen here.
Aye.
So possession, 82% for us. Expected goals, 3.36. Total shots, 32-5. Shots on target, 13-2. Pass accuracy, We had that much possession, 82%, and we're 89% pass accurate. That's insane. And then the Jules won 45-27, so the pressing was on point as well. So that was good.
We beat Barca with a stat sheet like that a while ago.
Yeah, but we were the Killie on that stat sheet. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. What's that, 12 years ago, Shane? How old were you?
Yeah.
Then?
You asked me to do maths on the run. This is dangerous. I was just
Good
over
calculating.
22.
There you go. I was going to say.
I was 22 at that time as well. Stone. Lost a bit of weight since then.
There you go, Liam. There's some feedback for you. You don't want that. You don't want that Celtic corner.
Be careful what you wish for, sir. Be careful what you wish for.
Where's Pedro?
Anyway, moving on.
So, yeah, just get into the goal, Shane. What was your thoughts on it?
Well, the first goal was probably summed up our first half performance completely, which was, there was a ball played in, there was a little bit of interplay on the box. It broke down, but Killie couldn't clear their lines because O'Reilly nicks in and wins it back. We actually win the ball back in their penalty box, right? And then Taylor lays off the assist, and it's just a wonderful finish from Hatate. And he had a fantastic game overall, but really good to see him firing on all cylinders again. I think one of the things that came out of the end of last season was just whether we could get back to that working relationship of O'Reilly, Hatate, and Calmac. And yeah, they all worked together fantastically. But it was a great bit of, intensity to win the ball back so high up the park, of course, but just to nick in, win it. And Taylor, who you commented, Jared, had a really good game, spots Hatate and with a really good pass. And yeah, it was a fantastic first goal.
The thing with that first goal, Shane, for me is that, okay, all the pressing, everything you just said there, spot on. I can't sum that up better. But we took that shot from that area, and then I still saw during the game patches of us trying to overcomplicate things and try and walk the ball in and all that. And sometimes you just got to get the ball in a certain area, put the laces through it and have a crack. And Hatate for that, he didn't get the cleanest strike on it. The keeper should have done better, but it was the right shot to take in that situation. And I wish we would do that more. We've got a lot of players, particularly our midfielders, and if our midfield's rotating the way it is, so Calmac can make some runs here and there. You've got Hatate, you've got O'Reilly. Those guys should be Johnny on the spot the majority of the time. If there's a loose ball in the box, one of them should be at the top there. So
yeah,
if we get this chance, just put the laces through it. That was good to see.
Well, it looked like Hatate has been given a bit of a license to take those shots because throughout the game, whenever he got the ball in space near the box, he was letting fly. And not all of them came off, not all of them drew a save, but it still looked like he was encouraged to do that. And, he was also looking, we've talked ad nauseum before about the quality he brings and the fact that he'll bite off passes that others won't. And sure enough, a couple of times he put a pass in that didn't work out, but because the team was so in sync together, they were easily able to win the ball back. So, yeah, he looked fantastic. Just speaking very directly about Rio.
And Liam, what's your thoughts on the second goal?
Well, nice to see a goal from a corner, which we haven't really seen that often. Yes. No, it was great. Scales, great header, great placement to put it in that corner, really out of the way of the keeper had no chance of getting it. I would just to go back a wee minute to the first goal. I just want to give a shout out to Greg Taylor because his work in the build up was fantastic. I think again it was because of the nature of the opposition that he was playing a much more attacking role, as was Alistair Johnson at times yesterday. And it was great to see him up there and, getting an assist. And the guy comes in for a lot of stick, and we know his limitations, but good to see, good performance from him. And I was happy with that. Second goal, yeah, like I said, great move. Good to see corner kicks paying off. Good to see the attacking centre back is still a thing at Celtic. That's good. Yeah, I was just very, very pleased with it overall.
All hail the Ginger Baresi. That's what I heard. Class finish. I just love the best part though of that goal was he's got the header, scored it, and then you look at it and go, Scales is here, and just behind him, unmarked as well, was Carter Vickers. And then the celebration, everyone getting around Scales, the first man there with the biggest grin on his face was Carter Vickers going, you got that one that I could have had, you bastard. Sort of thing. And then giving him a cheeky cuddle. It was great. Yeah. Oh, I didn't mind that at all. So, yeah, first half overall was pretty interesting. Yeah, so what we'll do is we will go through some of the comments here. So when we're talking about the squad and the game and everything, McLaughlin was saying we have a very solid foundation there, but with time to build on it. Gaddafi Semtex was saying 1 left back, 1 striker on our books. Celtic Corner was saying 3 midfielders on the bench. Only Walsh and Ralston for defence. Definitely need players there, 100%. When we're talking about names on the back of their jerseys before, RL77 was, I feel sorry for Bosun. No one's going to get Lowell on the back of their shirt. Smell the Glove was saying left back, centre half, and striker. Then depends on if Matt O'Reilly leaves for attacking mid. They're bringing a couple of kids up for the league squad. Yep. When we're talking about the way the game's being played, Maestro was saying they're playing the ball in tight spaces with confidence now, and that is great to see. We're getting the ball, and our players have their heads up, and they're looking for the next move before they're receiving the ball. So I get it. The defender there, so I've got these options, and they're ready to play straight away, quick. And that ties into what John's saying here. Celtic's passing was faster, crisper, and much more direct and imaginative. Andrew also said that lots of quick passing between midfield and defence as we moved up the park in Rogers style. We look sharper than last season.
Yeah, the whole team just looks more comfortable.
Yeah. And then Andrew was also saying Kyogo definitely linking more with those behind him in the build-up. I'm liking the way he's ducking in to get the ball to then play it to a winger to then make his run. So he's actually, this season, he's running onto the ball like he did under Ange. So it's like one-touch football for him to finish rather than trying to be that target man sort of thing he was trying to do last season that didn't suit him.
He worked really hard yesterday. We sort of went under a little bit of the radar because he didn't score, but he worked really, really hard and linked up really, really well. And I know you haven't gotten to it yet, not to steal your thunder, but he's really important for the third goal.
On another day, he could have had a hat trick.
That's true. Yeah, he really could have. He could have genuinely had a hat trick.
That was what my score prediction on Thursday's pod was. I said we were going to win 5-0, and I said Kyogo hat trick. And then I said O'Reilly will score 1 and Carter Vickers with a header off a corner. So I was, Scales, you stooged me there. But, it's as Maestro was saying overall, it was a joy to watch the game. So, we'll just get into the second half. So, Shane, do you want to start off with that one too, or Liam, do you want it this time?
Shane, you go ahead.
Okay.
More
no
waffle.
Worries, mate. No. I'll keep it in check this time. I thought second half we started pretty much the same way that we ended the first half, to be honest. I thought we looked pretty good. I thought we were still working well in those tight spaces. Our movement, our passing was just as crisp as it was when we finished the first half. There was probably in the middle part of the second half, though, was probably that phase where we kind of, I guess, for lack of better terminology, took the foot off the gas a little bit. The build-up kind of slowed a little bit. We weren't as direct. We weren't as incisive and stopped to a walk a little bit there. But then, we corrected that in the end, and I thought we still finished the game relatively comfortably in the end. So, look, it was really much of the same. And I don't really have much more to add to it, to be honest.
Liam?
Yeah, I think Shane's covered it. We just, we started as we meant to go on, and the third goal came pretty quickly, and then the fourth was just a nice icing on the cake. And one thing that I noticed in the second half though was the whole thing with Kyogo's, was it a penalty? Was it not a penalty? Right? Saying that he was offside in the build-up. Okay, fine, offside. But what about that assault that the goalkeeper done on him? Surely, whether the ball's active or not, that is a yellow card at least. And this is the problem with this whole VAR stages of play thing. It's like whether the ball is active or not. If you carelessly injure another player, you should be getting carded for that, whether it was active play or not. I mean, at the end of the day, if you're on the sidelines and you punch somebody, you're going to get a red card for it, aren't you? So why should it be any different? If it's like, well, the guy, you broke the boy's leg, but he was offside when you broke his leg, so it's all right,
Liam, all I have to say to you on that is Ken Oath, mate. Ken Oath. See, Shane's got it.
It's a very Australian phrase.
Yeah.
Do you need me to explain that for you, Liam?
If you could, yes.
We're past
my
the 5-minute
Australian
mark.
culture starts and ends at Prisoner and Crocodile Dundee, so you'll need to go a wee bit more.
It's the clean version of fucking Oath.
Okay.
So in Aussies is like that. We just named the bloke Ken Oath.
Okay.
There you go.
Prisoner and Crocodile Dundee. That's such a contrast.
What? In the 80s, growing up in England and then Scotland, that was the only Australian TV we had. That and Neighbours, and I thought Neighbours was shite. So that was
no Neighbours or Home and Away.
Yeah. Home and Away. No, Home and Away was always on when I was at school, so I could never get to see Home and Away. Neighbours was that wee bit later, but it was never the same once Bouncer died.
There you go. That's the Scottish version. Oath Ken. Brilliant. Yeah, so for me, with that second half, like as I touched on earlier, the whole 10-15 minute where we dropped off, I think it was during that period where we were making some subs and guys were coming on and trying to get up to speed with the game, or guys' legs were wearing out. And then once those guys all got on there and started actually getting up to speed with the game, then we reestablished ourselves and went on to dominate the game the rest of the way again. So, yeah, plenty of room for improvement. Like 15 minutes is still, you need to pick that up. If that was Europe and you played well and then you have a 15-minute lull, what happens to us? That's the story of our life, basically, the last few years in the Champions League. So that's what I'm saying. There's room for improvement there. But, yeah, the second half goals, pretty simple. Kun's goal was nice. The Bricky, it was great to see him doing all the work, getting up there and getting rewarded with a nice early goal as well. So, yeah, I think we took our chances pretty well there.
Well, I just want to comment on the third goal because Kun's directness is really important, and he had a fantastic game. Jared, I'm sure you'll take this on board. He had a fantastic game. He was fantastic on the right. And it was great play, but Kyogo's the unsung hero of that play. There you go. The predictor, the maestro. He lays it off. He releases Kun. Kun does fantastically well with the ball and then cuts inside. But Kyogo makes a run back and drags a couple of players away just to help with Kun's space so he can steady and get a shot off. And I thought it summed up Kyogo's game very well. As Liam said, he could have had a hat-trick, but in the end, he still contributed a significant amount to this result. And that highlighted his selflessness to me.
100%. Makes sense. So I'm just grabbing a couple extra comments here. So Pegleg was saying recruitment should always be with Europe in mind and not resting on our laurels because of a good preseason hammering Killie.
Yep, exactly.
Agreed with that. McLaughlin is saying I was more around the twist kid. Oh, have you ever felt like this?
Wow, what a throwback that is.
I love it. I mentioned that in our group chat the other day.
You did. You absolutely did.
And then the maestro saying, yeah, we need physicality for Europe. The Haunted Lighthouse down Aries Inlet, Victoria. That's the lighthouse for those who want to know. Oh, here we go. We're getting into it now. Heartbreak High. Jeez.
Oh no. It's that was not something that I indulged in.
Wow. Anyway, back to the Celtic. We're going on some tangents here tonight. We're all over the joint. This is like if the podcast was hosted by, or everyone on the pod was like ADD tonight. It's all over the place. There's just no.
I don't know. I think if it was hosted by me, let's be honest.
Well, that'll be in a few weeks, hopefully, Shane. You don't know yet.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm missing a game in a pod in a couple of weeks, so either Shane or Johnny or maybe Liam. I don't know. He'll put Pedro on the buttons. One of these will be hosting.
Pedro's always on the button, sir. He knows what he's doing.
You touched on about the controversial moments before, Liam, talking about the goal being chalked off and the clattering with Kyogo getting hammered. And then there was the penalty as well that wasn't given. So, yeah, anything you want to talk about, any controversial moments, anything like that? Or you think we already covered it?
I think we covered most of them. I think there were a couple of tackles. Donnelly got away with a push in the first. I think it was the early part of the second half that he probably should have got booked for, and then he could have been potentially off because he then got booked for it. So, boy, if you were watching Celtic TV, I think it was Peter Grant went on a bit of a tangent about Liam Donnelly, which was very interesting because it seemed like he used to coach him. So yeah, very interesting stuff. But I think we covered off most of them. Apart from the penalty situation and maybe a couple of potential 50-50 bookings that could have gone their way, I don't think it was awfully. I don't think it was an awful referee performance. I think we've experienced a lot worse.
Yeah, I would agree. I think it was, as I said, my issue with the foul on Kyogo isn't so much about it not being a penalty because he was offside. My issue is that the rules need to be looked at there in terms of if you commit a dangerous tackle, even if it's not in an active phase of play, there should still be action taken. But apart from that, I think it was fine. And I think the whole VAR thing is clearly getting smoother. The decisions were much faster yesterday as well. So that was good to see.
Well, it can't be any worse, Liam. Let's be honest.
No.
After last season, I'd say Willie Collum with the goods here.
Mm.
Oh, that'll ruffle a few feathers, mate.
I'm going fishing here. There it is. So, yeah, just want to go through. We've pretty much done our player focuses, talked about everyone else. So I just want to know who was your man of the match. So we had a comment early on that Taylor was the man of the match. I want to know with you boys, what do you think? Shane, who's your man of the match?
I had Matt O'Reilly. I thought, particularly first half, he was crucial to everything that we were creating. He was involved in almost everything, be it directly or indirectly. But I thought he was just really important. And particularly in that midfield, we talked about the working in tight spaces and how comfortable he looked. He looked immense when doing that. He almost was doing a little bit of the Rogic stuff, that get the ball and first time layoff. His link-up play was excellent. And yeah, a big part of why we dominated that first half was Matt O'Reilly. So in the end, he was my man of the match.
Yeah, I would. O'Reilly definitely up there. I would actually give it to Kyogo, just for his work rate was incredible. He looks so much more confident, and he just looks a lot happier with the way he's playing now, and it's really good to see. And I think that it's a good sign of things to come, because like I said, on another day he could have a hat trick. Next week he might well get a hat trick if he keeps playing like that.
I have multiple man of the match in different areas, so I'm going to just be a bit of an idiot here. So get the waffle count out. Man of the match is either Taylor or O'Reilly, right? Scales and Hatate close behind those two. So that's the top four. Another one I want to do is whoever arranged the TIFO, and I want to give another man of the match shout out to every person in that stadium making the atmosphere absolutely electric. With that performance, they got the performance on the pitch was matched with the energy in the crowd. And that union that we talk about between the players, the fans, and everything, it's great to see that is there, even though pretty much every person in the stadium and as a fan base wants more. We're always like, we've got so much money in the bank, we want players, but it's great to actually see that there wasn't a protest and there wasn't a lot of BS going on there, negativity. the performance that we dished up on the field was matched in the stands. So that's something I'm really happy of. So give yourself a pat on the back.
Yeah, very well said, mate. That tifo looked fantastic, and the atmosphere throughout the whole 90 minutes was exceptional. So definitely deserve credit to everyone involved.
And as Celtic Corner saying, and the tifo didn't end up all over the pitch for a change. That too.
Yep.
So a few other little things to talk about. We've got so Brendan Rodgers has said that Celtic will be targeting a domestic treble while being realistic about our goals in Europe. So I know we've spoken about this before, but with the performance we've got and what we've spoken about recruitment, at this point in time, I want to ask you a twofold thing. At this point in time, what is a realistic, if we don't bring anyone in or lose anyone, what's a realistic target in Europe? And if we strengthen those three positions I was talking about early on, so centre back, left back, and a striker, what is a realistic goal for us in Europe this year? So, Shane, I'll go to you first.
So with the current squad with no improvements, our realistic goal, which I still think is realistic, is to get out of that first phase. So to get into that out of that first set of groups, not get eliminated straight away and go into that two-legged sort of process to get into the round of 16 or so forth. That's very much still achievable, even with the squad that we've got. If we were to improve it dramatically, I think we get beyond that. I think we go into that round of 16, that second set of knockout ties from there. And then I think from there, it's tough to see where it pans out from there, but you give yourself every single chance if you get that far.
Yep. Liam?
Yeah, that the sort of the second tier, the second tranche of 8 teams, the top 8 go into the second round as seeds, and then the 8 to 16 join them as unseeded. We should be in that 8 to 16. I think that's a fair aim. We would I say only, but if we win like 3 or maybe 4 of our 8 games, then that should be enough to get us there. So I think that should be the target.
Isn't it 8 to 24 in that, Liam? Because the top 8 go through, still exceeded.
Aye, sorry, you're right. 8 to 24.
Aye. 16 to play each other to get through to that stage.
That's right. Sorry. Yeah, 8 to 24. Yeah, we should.
I was looking at going, that maths ain't nothing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Aye. And that's why I failed my maths exams at high school, everybody.
Who's the teacher on this pod?
Yes.
So for me, in Europe, I just think with the squad how it currently is, let's just not come last.
Yeah.
That's the way I look at it. Like I'd want to be, I know there's no groups, but the equivalent sort of thing where I want to be like a pot. By the end of it, we want to be a pot C team when they go to that. So you want to be in that 16 through to 24 range sort of thing. As Liam's saying, the 9 through to 24, whatever that range is, we want to be in there. McLaughlin's saying that's where we actually would fit in between 15 and 24. That's where I want to be.
Yep.
With
like you said, there's the equivalent of a team that would finish 3rd in one of the 4 team groups.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's where I want us to be if we strengthen up properly. If we keep our current squad, then we're probably going to be one of those 4th team coming last in their group, the equivalent of their group. That's the way I look at it. So I want us to come 3rd, get to the knockout, and then we just go from there. If we can go on a run, that would be absolutely majestic. Now, another thing here for domestic thing where he was saying that we have the want to go for a domestic treble. I agree with Maestro right here. I want to see youth development in the League Cup. I would happily not have a domestic treble every year if we're going to start to see some of these young kids and have a cup goalkeeper. So Sinisalo in goals in the cup competitions, the domestic ones instead of Schmeichel. See guys like Taylor not have to play and see Anderson in there. See Home get some games. See some of the guys from our B team starting to make the step up and see if there are players there that could potentially, with the right development, make that step up. That's something that I want to see domestically. Like if we win League Cup, Scottish Cup, and the league, it's not going to do jack shit in terms of TV money and everything to keep the lights on at a certain club, which is just imploding at the moment. So they can win. They can win that one League Cup. I don't care. It's not going to make a difference to them. It's not going to make a difference to us if we can start to get some players blooded and come through. That's just. But then, I say that now, but then when the games, I'll be like, that's it, full strength team, let's go and do it. I'll be the biggest hypocrite in the world. So,
I mean, if you look at it's wrong to compare ourselves to England because of the monies involved and whatever. But how many English teams take their League Cup seriously? Very few.
No one until
it's only maybe when they get to the final that you actually see first team strength players, on show. I think that maybe in Scotland we do place a bit too much emphasis on the treble because of the historic significance of it. But we should be keeping back our top players for Europe, and we should be putting our young players into the League Cup. And I said it in my predictions video, which I sent you the other day. I think Sinisalo needs to be our cup keeper. That's a definite. That should be the way it is, especially if we're looking to him becoming our new keeper a year or two down the line.
So, as Maestro is saying here, our youth should be our lifeblood. Pegleg is saying, we seem to constantly lose our most promising young players. What's being done to prevent that? Nothing at the moment, and that's why we've got to try and do something about it. It's 2/5 of F all, basically.
Yeah.
RL77 saying Sevco can become the world's most successful League Cup team. And
we'll probably get to the final, then lose to St Mirren or something, just because that's the sort of team they are now.
Yep. Smell the glass and play a hybrid of experience and youth in the League Cup. I don't want to give the Rangers the League Cup on a plate like we did last year. I get that. So yeah, if James McCarthy was still at the club, that's where he gets a game. But yeah, seeing some guys there like Kobayashi get a game, you can have the Bricky out there. He can captain the team and have Quan out there and do some stuff like that. Yeah, so there's options there. But anyway, next talking point. No bueno. Wolves have rejected Celtic's loan moves for Hugo Bueno. Looks like we're back in being linked with Owen Beck, who's at Liverpool. Rogers is a fan of his. So, Shane, what's your thoughts if we were to get Owen Beck, actually sign him, not have him on loan?
Oh, look, he was pretty promising last season when he played up in Scotland, and I think he was someone that we actually highlighted on the pod, particularly in comparison at the time. We had Phillips, ironically, and we were like, wow, it'd be interesting to have Owen Beck instead, right? So, look, I think we need an option. We've talked constantly about needing an option to push Taylor. Now, he will push Taylor, but I don't think necessarily he pushes in front of or forces him out of that starting spot. So it's probably not what we really need or what we really desired, but it is going to be someone that at least pushes him and can come in and easily take his spot if he underperforms. So I'm okay with it, but it's probably not the ideal option that I think we had all hoped when we were looking for a new left back.
Liam, what's your thoughts?
Well, I think just going back to the Bueno thing for a minute, I'm actually glad that deal fell through, because I don't want us signing loan players that we don't have any chance of actually buying at the end of it, because we could have probably got him for a year, but if he'd have been as good as we think he would have been, his transfer value is such that Celtic would never have been able to make it permanent. So I think that we should look at loan signings not as 1 year's plug the gap, like we have in the past with the likes of Nat Phillips and people like that. I think instead we need to look at it as a sort of a try before you buy. So I don't want us to sign any more loan players unless there is an automatic clause we can trigger at the end of the period to buy the player for a pre-agreed fee. I don't want any more like Bernardo, that should not have dragged out until last week. That should have been done at the end of last season if we were that sure that we wanted him. Ida as well. We should have had a clause in the contract before we took him. So if losing out on Bueno means that we are missing out on a player that we could never have signed permanently. I'm quite happy with that. Beck's decent, but not quite good enough yet to displace Taylor. I agree with Shane on that. I'd like to see us just have another look at the market and go for a different left back, one that's of a higher standard that we can sign permanently.
So for me, I'm just quickly checking something at the moment, but the thing for me, and it's nothing massive or anything like that, but Beck seems good, and I think Rodgers would improve him, right? If he was to come in. But we get caught out because we're undersized at the fullback positions. Look at Taylor for Hearts. Big, powerful, was he a right back? Okay. And then you look at Greg Taylor for us, 5'7". You look at Owen Beck, 5'10". So, yeah, that's still an improvement, but in Europe, he'd still get targeted. So, I don't know. I'm just looking for a bit of a bigger style left back if we can. We need to find something that's, a good old fashioned 6-footer if we can. There you go. RL77. He's a whole 7 centimeters taller than Taylor.
To trust me, 7 centimeters is big.
Who's telling you that?
I'm saying nothing. I'm saying nothing.
Is that what she said? Had to. Just poke myself in the eye.
Oh dear. Dear.
That's my fault. Sorry.
Oh.
Yeah, so we'll see how that plays out. Chelsea apparently want Matt O'Reilly. So for me, because they're a bunch of scumbags, I'd say to him, if you want him, £50 million is yours. Otherwise, piss off.
Yep.
Anyone got anything different to that?
No, that's absolutely a net starting price. Let's negotiate up from there.
Aye, Chelsea have got the money; they can pay it, or they can piss off.
There you go. There it is, right there. Is there a left back Lustig out there like the taller one? We've got it here, Josh Doig or Doig 6'2". Boom, get him in.
Could have had him a couple of years ago for pennies if we'd just looked at the right market.
Stock standard, isn't it? Well, hang on. Before we do that, I'm going to go back to a question then. On that, Liam, what's the scouting network at Celtic? Well, currently it's Jay Lefevre and Brendan Rodgers, and that's it. So
yeah, what's the scouting network? I think is the answer you would get from Celtic.
It's like, what is one? Yeah.
No, unfortunately, I think when Ange was at Celtic, we had some sort of tie up with City Group, which did a lot of the scouting for us. But I think that went with Ange because we haven't, not only have we not exploited the Japanese or Korean market anymore, but we haven't really we haven't really looked at any more of those clubs that are linked into the City Group. Like, we did a few deals with Man City in the past. That's not happened recently. I think that was an avenue that, whether it was because of changes in the boardroom or changes just with Angela Ewing, that's no longer on the cards, and we haven't really replaced that.
It's twofold, Liam. It's the City Group tie-in, and it's also Ange's tied up with that CAA-based agency network, which is pretty well connected globally.
Yeah.
And so when you put the two of them together and he moves on, and then we have Mark Lawwell in the building running the show, absolutely ruining things. Yeah, that's how we get into this situation.
Yeah.
Smell the Glove says what it is here. The scouting network is pin the tail on the donkey and hope. And Mahesh is saying that Celtic scouting network at the moment is Roger's Black Book.
Speaking of donkeys, did anybody watch that Hearts Rangers game on Saturday?
I sure did. The only reason I watched it, Liam, because I'm like, I've been out, I got home, and I'm like, shit, I haven't done my laundry and I need to wash more clothes for work. Some jumpers and stuff. So I'm like, that's it. I need to stay awake. I know what'll keep me awake. Laughing at Huns. Bang. So I put the game on. Sure enough, it worked. Hearts
should have leathered them. Honestly, Hearts were all over them.
Yeah.
So but again, that ties into the scouting issue. I think that if we don't invest in the squad, we'll get passed around like currency in Europe. But I think domestically, we'll still win the league at a canter because they are absolutely rank rotten. I don't think that Asbestos United or whatever they're calling themselves now will even finish second.
What was it? What was it when you called him asbestos?
Asbestos Albion. That was my wee quip.
So on that, then Liam
Carcinogen
Pegley asked us this early on. Already, it's a question of how many points we win this championship by. Who wants to go fearless right now? Because everyone, our fearless prediction video is coming out Wednesday this week, so it will be out then. So I'm going to go fearless one here. If we bring in Ida and the centre back and the left back, we win this league by 20 plus. I'm calling it early. If we don't bring them in and we keep the squad we got now, it's going to be about a 10-point gap. There, I've said it. Snip that, whichever Rangers people are watching this, and thanks for the views.
On a side note, get it up, you. Anyway, I think we win the league by about. Well, here's the thing. I think we finished 25 points ahead of looking Carcinogen City over at Ibrox. But I think we only win the league by about 15 points.
Because of Hearts.
Yeah, Hearts will finish significantly above them because I think there's going to be a point deduction at some point for administration.
And that's why on my top, what we did on Thursday was we did our top 6, bottom 6, and how the ladder will end up, right? As a preview to the final, to the Fearless Predictions, and I had Hearts first, so Celtic first, Hearts second, Aberdeen third, Huns fourth, for that exact reason.
See, the question with the admin thing is how much of a points penalty is it? Because if they're going to continue to play the still the same club bullshit, it's 25 points for a second administration. If it's the first time because they're a new club, it's only, I think, either 10 or 12 points.
10 points.
10 points. Yeah, there you go.
So if they die again and come back, are they going to be like, what is it? You had third Lanark, so what are we going to call them? Third zombies or third Rangers?
I can't believe it's not the Huns.
The big Hoos must stay open. Brilliant. So, yeah, what last topic for the pod is, I'm going to go to you, Liam. Is Rio Hatate back to his best? Last year he had an interrupted season, and to me, he's looking immense at the moment. He's looking fit. He's looking happy and settled. And I'm just looking at it going, I think he's the sort of player, get a full season under Rodgers, he's going to go for some big, big money.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we've actually been, how can I put this? We're lucky that he wasn't that great last season, because if he'd been playing like that for all of last season, he'd be gone by now. I think he is back to his best. He'll have a great season with us, and then sadly, probably next summer is when he makes his move to a bigger club, and not bigger in terms of size, bigger in terms of finance in Europe.
Someone who'll pay him more.
Yes.
What do you think, Shane?
Yeah, I agree with everything Liam said. And, you think back to last season, we had David Turnbull partnering Matt O'Reilly for a while there, and we sort of wondered whether Hatate could fit in and whether Brendan was actually going to put him in and embrace the style of play and his passing that Hatate does have, which can sometimes be a bit loose, but can also unlock defenses like no other. And it was great to see Brendan really embrace him after the game on the weekend. He went straight to him and basically gave him a big hug. I think Brendan's absolutely on the Hatate train now and realises what he can bring to this Celtic team. So with that said, with an uninterrupted pre-season and hopefully no injuries on the horizon, I think he can absolutely push his market value through the roof.
So I'll bring up some comments here, start to wrap the pod up. So Mahesh is saying, Hatate has to stay fit. All of Celtics dropped points last season. No Hatate.
Mhm.
Andrew is saying there was confusion in the camp last season from under the Rogers Ange transition. Hatate and Kyogo were victims of that.
Yeah, definitely. Absolutely.
McLaughlin's got here. Seen an interesting stat on the Sevco: 6 wins in 18 games, and they give Big Phil a new contract. Hey,
just securing the gardening leave. That's all he's doing.
and then it's but Big Phil is the man. He won the Belgium. Blah blah. Maestro, note to Celtic board: ambition, bigger, the real money. Yep. So the way I look at it is we'll go to our final thoughts. But before we do that, I just want to. I know he's not everyone's cup of tea because of how things ended in the 10-0 season, but Neil Lennon, you're in my thoughts. Being someone who lost his mother in the last couple of years, it's never easy. So condolences to you and the family. I know you won't watch this, but yeah, feel sorry for you, bud. So condolences. Shane, final thought.
Just wanted to echo your sentiments as well, Jared. Yeah, here, mate. I just want to give a shout out to my old man who's celebrating his 70th birthday today. So shout out to you, Dad. Plenty more of things to achieve as well, and yeah, love you.
Yeah, I would just echo what Jared said because I lost my mum too a few months ago, and yeah, it's not a nice thing to go through, and in quite similar circumstances to how Lenny lost his mum, from what I understand. So, all the best, Neil Lennon. We're all behind you, mate, and you'll get through this. Trust me. But to end things on a lighter note, I'm going to share something here, which apparently there's a thing they have on the social medias where it's like genuine complaints that people send into companies, right? So, do you have Premier Inn hotels in Australia?
No,
Don't think
Right.
so.
Think of like Holiday Inn but cheaper, right? Basically. So somebody wrote a message to the Premier Inn's Facebook page. Says, just quick question: do you provide condoms in your hotel rooms? And they replied. They said, "I'm afraid not, but we do have tea and coffee." The reply is, "Yeah, great. I'll wrap my cock in a mug of roasted hot coffee. That's a great idea."
All right. And off the back of Liam's one, my final thought in the comments before people were talking about old Aussie shows. If you get a chance, go look up Hey Hey It's Saturday and have a look at Aussie Ostrich. But the best one of the lot, political correctness would get this cancelled, something chronic. Go have a look at Dickie Knee. That is like that's the top shelf. Like 100% get you cancelled these days. There's one for you. But thanks everyone for tuning in. Appreciate it. Hail, hail.
Hell,
How?